Dr. Marion Dowd from Sligo, and I'm going to ask her some questions.
Hello Danny, lovely to meet you, and thanks for all the questions that you sent in. I've been an archaeologist for almost 25 years. I teach archaeology at IT Sligo and I work in caves a lot.
Gavin, age 4, wants to know, have you ever found any dinosaur fossils?
Hello Gavin, that's a great question. I haven't found any dinosaur fossils, but I have seen a great dinosaur footprint on Valentia Island in County Kerry. I've also seen some great fossils that aren't of dinosaurs, but if you're interested in dinosaurs, you might also be interested in some of the bones that we have from Ireland's caves of animals that are extinct now. So animals like giant Irish deer and reindeer once lived in Ireland, and little Arctic lemmings lived in Ireland, and bears lived in Ireland. So that's the closest I've come to very old bones. But great question, Gavin. Thank you.
In age 14 wants to know, what is the best thing you have found?
That's a great question, Ronan. Thanks for that. Probably the best thing that I've ever found was a wolf tooth that I found in a cave in County Clare about 18 years ago. I was in the cave with some cavers and there were lots of bones on the floor of the cave, which is normal, and I found this wolf tooth. And then when I looked closely, I saw that it had a hole at the top, so it was used as a pendant, like as a necklace. And later when we excavated the site, we realised that this little wolf tooth pendant was about 3,000 years old, dating to the Bronze Age. So that wolf tooth is now in the National Museum in Dublin, but this is a copy. This is what it would have looked like. So you can see here what the tooth looked like. It was this size, really beautiful. And in the Bronze Age, somebody had drilled a hole through the top and then they would have worn it as a necklace. So that's probably my favourite find ever.
Sam, age 14, wants to know, did you ever find human bone?
Hi Sam, thanks for the question. Yeah, I have excavated a number of sites where we found human bone, and I suppose one of the things that's really important for archaeologists is that when we find human bones, that we excavate them with a lot of care and a lot of respect, and we think about the person who died and, you know, their remains. So it can sometimes be very sad excavating remains of people, but we're always very respectful of them and treat them with care.
Sam, age 14, wants to know, why did you decide to become an archaeologist?
Oh, that's a great question, Sam, and lots of archaeologists ask themselves that question. When I was at school, I wanted to be a teacher, and then when I went to secondary school, I wanted to study law. And then when I was doing my Leaving Cert, I heard about archaeology. So when I was a kid, archaeology was not very common and I had never met an archaeologist. So I read about this thing called archaeology when I was about 17 and it sounded really interesting. So I went to university and had an amazing teacher called Peter Woodman, and he was just the smartest person I'd ever met, and he knew so much about archaeology. And our first lecture was all about the Ice Age and giant Irish deer, and I was completely hooked. And since then, I've never looked back. I've always loved archaeology.
What's the most surprising thing you've found?
Ooh, that's a really good question. The most surprising thing. Let me think. Well, one really surprising thing that I found was in a cave in County Clare called Glencairn Cave. And we'd been excavating there for a couple of weeks and we started finding these tiny glass beads, and I hadn't ever seen anything like that before. So I started asking a lot of different archaeologists if they had ever seen this type of bead, and nobody really knew, anything about them, and we didn't know if they were very old or maybe they were very recent. And then finally, somebody in the National Museum in Dublin told me that they were Viking beads, which was amazing. And then it turned out that we had found the largest Viking glass bead necklace in Ireland. We've about 70 glass beads from this beautiful Viking necklace. And I suppose part of the mystery is, what is a Viking necklace doing in a cave in Clare? It was probably hidden there. So yeah, that was really interesting and surprising. And maybe that's one of the reasons that archaeologists love archaeology, because you never really know what you're going to find. And it's afterwards, after an excavation, when you start doing scientific research, that you sometimes find out the age of something or something very unexpected about your artifact.
Nancy, age 8, wants to know, have you or any of the other archaeologists ever found something that really scared them or gave you the heebie-jeebies?
That's just a brilliant question, Nancy. And it's a really good question, because I work in caves a lot. Cave archaeology is what I specialize in. So I have got the heebie-jeebies in a number of caves. A long time ago, I got stuck in a cave and I got really, really scared. And it took a long time for me to come out of the cave, because there was a really narrow passage that we had to squeeze through. You also get really big spiders in caves. They're very different to the spiders that you might see, you know, at home around the house. These are really big, hairy spiders. So yeah, they usually make people really, really nervous. And then sometimes just working in a cave, if you're working in a cave for 6 or 7 hours in the darkness, that can be a little bit scary. It's also really nice, and I really like being in caves, but there are also some scary bits about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. These have been great questions. Thanks a million, everybody.